Hi.
Hi if you're there. Wait, hold on. We have to make sure we're actually...
Right.
I don't see it yet. Unless they're seeing this.
It's definitely live.
Okay, well... Oh, here we go. Wait a minute. And... we got it. No, come on.
Okay. Okay, hi. It is working. And here we are.
Here we are. There we go.
Welcome to Lit. So this is the show where we talk about what we write, how we write it, and why. We are live from San Francisco. I'm Katrina Gold-Saito.
And I'm Jessica Fechter. And the last time we met, we told you about, we told you about how we met.
Oh, we met at a fake dinner party, if you missed it last time.
Yes. We also talked about a couple of the criteria that you might want to think about, or that we certainly think about, in terms of finding a writing partner that's great for you.
Yeah.
In case you missed it last time, get a pencil. The criterion number one was find someone whose voice whose work you love, and therefore whose voice you trust.
Yeah. And then we said that number two was find someone who can offer you precise feedback. So they know what they like, they know what they don't like, and they can articulate to you why.
That's right. Before we go any further, I just want to remind you, we have a robust comment section. Please, at any point, if you have something you'd like to say, to ask, something to share with us, type it on in and we will respond.
Yeah.
Live.
Live, because this is live, if you couldn't tell from the beginning.
So today on Lit, we want to share one last criterion for finding that perfect writing partner. And it's this. Find someone who will be in the mud with you.
In the mud. See?
Do you have a little elf under there who's making signs?
Yeah, I do.
In the mud.
In the mud.
Yes. Clothing optional.
What? Come on. Okay, so we're getting focused here. This is good. In the mud. Okay, so this came from a conversation Jessica and I had. That's our street cleaner, because we're live. In the mud is something that Jessica said to me in this little cafe on Newbury Street when we were living in Boston, and she did her intense Jessica Fechter thing, and she said, I want you to be in the mud with this book. And I kind of get chills now remembering that.
Well,
and at the moment I was like, whoa.
Well, what did you think I meant? I remember that time. It was towards the beginning of our...
Right, it was like number 4 or something like that. We hadn't met many times. We hadn't met many times, but enough for me to like be like, okay, yeah.
Okay, she talks like this.
Okay.
Okay, she's kind of a weirdo.
No.
So what did you think when I said that? When I asked you to be in the mud with me?
When Jessica said this, it's such a solitary thing, right, to be a writer. When Jessica said, I want you to be in the mud, I felt like she was inviting me into her head with her. It felt like she was saying...
You calling my head muddy? Yes,
muddy,
exactly, right.
So it felt like it was a commitment to like see all of the shitty drafts, to see all of the kind of emotional murkiness, muddiness, and to work towards the end of this project. Like that commitment was really, really clear to me, and was something that kind of scared me, but that I realized I wanted to be in the mud. I wanted her to be in the mud with my book as well.
Yeah, I remember you telling me much later that was the moment for you that you felt like our writing partnership really began.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
totally
I think being in the mud for me, it's all of those things that you said, and also, you know, it's one thing. And it's no small thing to say to a friend, a colleague, someone whose work you love and therefore whose voice you trust. Criterion number one. Here's this draft I've been working on, this complete draft, this fully formed thing. I want to give it to you, and can you tell me your feedback? And both of us reserved people. You know, we had friends who, at the very end of finishing our work, who had never seen it before, we gave our work to those people at the end. But that's a very different thing, as you say, from inviting someone in the muddiest, dirtiest, most disgusting moments of creation.
And I don't think that until you suggested that, I don't think that it ever occurred to me that you could do that with another person. I did feel like writing was something you can only do by yourself, and you present something that's absolutely perfect, and then people go, oh,
your best shot.
Right, so that was frightening to me, and that vulnerability of being like, okay, I'm gonna let this, I'm gonna let go of these things being perfect, and let Jessica be in it with me every moment.
Right, and I think that vulnerability you mentioned, and that's real, and that is that's something surely I always feel, whenever I'm sharing my work, even with Katrina. But I think I was just so scared because I had promised an editor and my agent, and I had a contract that I would finish this book, and I was failing at writing it. So terror trumped my fear of vulnerability.
That's why deadlines are a good thing. I didn't have a deadline. I was like, I could write this until I die. I could write this for the next 30 years.
At points, I thought maybe you might have. We will talk about drafting another time. Katrina is a serious drafter. But I think the magic of being in the mud together for me has to do with creating this history of engagement. Where what ends up happening is, because you're not just giving somebody this finished piece, you're getting into the mud. You're sharing things in their most nascent form, kind of this like blob, and then what ends up happening is, I'm not giving it to you as somebody who's just gonna swoop in and comment on a few things, give me maybe even precise feedback, criterion number 2, about this work. You're gonna stick with it, and because you were there in the mud, it means that later on, as we continue to develop our relationship, and as the piece continues to go to move from one ugly stage to a lesser and lesser ugly stage, hopefully. It's like you would have then an in my head kind of understanding of the work, so that all of your comments, because of this history of engagement, would be especially salient and relevant and helpful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I just suddenly was thinking like, right, in your head, but not in your head, because there's also this distance that's so helpful.
Right.
We'll talk about that another time too.
Yeah.
That history of engagement.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, before we go any further, for anyone who maybe just tuned in, I just would like to say that you're watching Lit. You're watching Lit, the show where we talk about what we write. What do we talk about? The show where we talk about what we write, how we write it, and why. I think that's all I need to say about that.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Cool. I just was looking, and it's like, oh, the video's not working, but don't worry.
But it is. Yeah. Cool. New technology.
Yeah. Okay. So the other thing that we're going to talk about is that having this relationship and being in the mud and having that history of engagement, which I think is just the most beautiful way to describe it, is kind of like being on call. Like it's like having someone that you can just, that writing can be a state of emergency. You can have a writing state of emergency, and you have someone who appreciates that it is a state of emergency. I called Jessica. I needed to get a bio to my editors. And I just didn't feel like I could send it until she had seen it and like approved of it.
Yeah.
So I called Jessica. It's like one of my favorite stories. So I called Jessica, and she, she's like, okay, I'm in the middle of Macy's. I'm nursing Freddie. Mia, you can take off your shoes. Do not take off your socks. And then proceeds to give me like this amazing, very clear feedback.
Those are
exactly
my kids,
what
by
I
the
needed.
way.
Yeah, guys, come on. Okay, so proceeds to give me like this really gorgeous, perfect feedback. Asked me to reread the bio while she's wrangling 2 children in the middle of Macy's in New York, probably.
Yes, it was the flower show.
It was the flower show. Of course, she was there for the flower show. And then, I felt like, okay, she's seen it, I can send it, and it was done.
Yeah, I mean, that feeling of, okay, she's seen it, I can send it, it's done. I mean, that relates to something we talked about last time. I think I mentioned the Katrina will tell me, right? That this notion that you trust the person so much that you know that once you have given your everything and you've kind of used your own smarts to get it just where you want it, oftentimes it's those last moments of like, okay, I have what I want, but this little tweak or that little tweak. And then to be able to just let it go when this other person, your writing partner, says, it's this one, go. And in fact, sorry, did you want to say anything else about that?
No, go.
I mean, that was that was the moment in my process of writing my book where I think relied most heavily on the on-call feature of the writing partnership. It was the last few weeks of writing, and I was in my, I don't know what, my like 3rd or 4th final draft. I mean, the part where really it was about the book is done, but it wasn't fully done to me until I knew that every last word was in place. And that also is, I'm going all over a little bit, but the history of engagement, it's about being in the mud so that when you get to the point of every last word in place, you have that person who knows from the beginning. So in this case, there I was doing a final, for real, final read through my manuscript. And there must have been, hundreds of emails?
Yeah.
Hundreds.
Totally.
Where I would just send to Katrina 2 sentences or 2 paragraphs. And I would say, A or B, and she would just shoot back a response, A.
Yeah, that was so fun.
And we didn't need to go in to she didn't need to say because blah 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 blah, because she knew that I knew all the reasons for A and all the reasons for
back
B.
And forth too. You'd be like, but I was thinking A. I'd be like, well, here's why B, and then we go back and forth a little bit.
And it was because she had that's the history of engagement. She had the context from way back when.
Yeah.
She knew without me even saying this is from chapter 7 that's where it was. She knew everything around it. She knew all the previous versions, so she understood what was at stake. And it was just this lifeline, really, to be able to plow through and get that thing done and out of my hands.
Yeah. It was really fun.
I love that you said it was fun.
It was. Well, because from my point of view, it's fairly low stress, right? I'm just like, oh yeah, definitely this, and at that time I had a newborn. Someday we'll also do a show about parenting and creativity. It's another thing I'm excited about.
Yeah, and also it is fun. I mean, that's the other thing. That maybe kind of goes along with some of the things that we discussed on Monday. When you're an artist of any kind, you need to be selfish about guarding your work time. I did an interview.
Gosh, we have to talk about that in another show, definitely.
Yeah, guarding the work time, which is really hard.
Save it. No, I don't
save
know.
it?
No, save guarding the work time. I don't know. It's a nice one. Nice topic. I don't know what you're gonna say.
Yeah,
because it's live.
She doesn't know what I'm gonna say.
It's live.
What I say will not take away from the future guarding the work time thing. But in a interview or conversation that I had recently, I'm trying to place it and I can't at the moment. But anyway, we were talking about things that one does for hair in my mouth. I'm so graceful on live camera. About the things that one does for oneself in a life so filled up with busyness and commitments and everything.
Yeah.
And the person, talked about something that was really about self-care. And I realized that the thing that I do, the number one thing that sounds really workaholic-y is guarding my writing time, because that's so important. And the reason why I mentioned this here and not in too much detail is because I think that went into things for us when we were figuring out our writing partnership at the beginning. To do the kind of partnership that Katrina and I have, it is a huge time commitment.
Yeah.
Huge.
Right.
I mean, tens of hours a week spent on each other's work, in the reading through and then the meeting and then the going back over it. And I certainly had this sense, it's a sense of selfishness, but I think it serves a purpose where, I didn't want to join up with somebody and do this unless, even when I was working on her work, it felt like productive work time for me.
Yeah.
In the sense that I was growing and learning so much as a writer, being able to see what works and what doesn't in writing, in quality writing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think so. I also feel like that's another really interesting topic to go into in the future too, of that feeling of learning so much from the process of being in someone else's work.
Right.
And that's another thing that is so valuable.
Yeah. Maybe that's a topic about being in someone else's work, because we had a great comment on Anna the last time.
Yeah.
Should we read her comments out loud?
No,
let's
go back and look.
Okay, we will go back and look. We've got other things to talk about. Okay.
Yeah, so should we do this? Should we do this? The way the emails come to us?
You're cracking me up.
Sure,
what do you have there, Katrina Goldsanto?
Okay. This is how emails come to us. They look like this.
Because we're living in the future.
We're living in the future.
Yes.
Like
and in the future.
Email. Too lit.
Yes.
So this, I really like, someone wrote us an email and was talking about the struggle as artists that we have, and we're faced with the myth of the creative genius, the lone wolf. And it feels like the fix for that is the writing partnership. And that, you know, I mean, I guess we've already kind of touched on that. We ended up touching on that just now, earlier in this talk, but.
Yeah. And the other thing that you mentioned when that email first came in, when that email, by paper airplane, is this idea of investment, right? And what it's, and how, you know, when you're invested in someone's work to this extent, that also means that you feel such a thorough and true and, you know, honest stake in their success. When your writing partner has some kind of success, I don't mean, you know, some kind of big award, although that is lovely too. I mean when something works, you know, when you've been working on something and you get the draft back and it works. I mean, we all know what that feels like for ourselves, but it's a pretty cool and I think unique, or I should say uncommon feeling to feel that about someone else's work. And then certainly, you know, the kinds of successes that are, you know, getting a book deal or getting,
right.
You know,
well, I
all
think you're talking
that.
about too the like minute successes.
The minute
yes,
successes,
finally
yeah.
that little moment that people would just read quickly through it. Finally,
Right.
that tiny moment is working.
Right, and it's cool then to share, like when you felt, like it's allowed me to celebrate those moments because you're in them with me.
Yeah, right,
Which is
exactly.
amazing.
You have someone, you're not like, hey, I did it, nobody's here. And you're like, yes! We do that a lot too, like calling or texting and be like, oh my gosh, I figured out this thing. Okay,
Right.
Should we see what people are saying?
Oh wait, one more thing, right? Because
What?
I know what we just said, but I just realized it wasn't the thing we talked about before, which is fine. Which is fine. But just the last thing about you know, when do you have, like, you have maybe your mom, always my mom, you know, your mom is going to be there with you and truly excited for you in like a full on way if you know, get some kind of recognition or some kind of success, like maybe your spouse, hopefully your sibling, but to have a professional relationship where it's like that, where there's like no twinge of like, oh, it's her and not me, or because you just feel so joined.
Sure.
I just think, I guess I wanted to say that because I feel like a lot of people, I think especially women, unfortunately, tend to not really know how to feel that or what it's like to feel that.
Yeah, I feel like in that email too from this viewer had that.
This viewer?
I was like, I don't know. I was like, wait, watcher? That's so creepy. Watcher,
Yes.
viewer. Voyeur. Like brought in that feeling as well of being really truly supportive, and how important it is to have that either tight group or one person who feels that way. Now should we check out?
Yes.
Okay, because maybe there are.
We got
Oh, look at this.
wait, why don't we bring this up
That's
here
so
so
nice.
we're not
I
like,
think. Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
leaning
But I think
forward.
there might not be questions. They're just comments.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
So this is Jessica Gath and Sue Murad, who are
I
art
met
making.
Jess at your wedding.
Yes. My art making partner and consultant for years, so much time together in the mud and so much ability to pass on glimmers of where the work might
That was
go.
very, very fast. But basically she's related to this.
Well, I figure
idea.
people are
Yeah.
also looking. They probably have seen it already.
Yeah.
I was kind of like reading it for us.
Oh, that's right. They can see this too.
Yeah, right.
I understand technology very well.
Cool. So I think that now we should do our awesome segment.
That's right. We always end, both times, with a segment called
One
Awesome
Thing.
Sorry, we'll do it again. 1, 2, 3.
One
Awesome Thing!
Okay, so we figured we would share something that we're really loving right now, and you can do the same. You can put things in the comments with like a link or a picture to a TV show, a book, a movie, a kind of yarn, a vegetable, a member of a petting zoo band. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it can be anything. And you can put it in there. We'll put it up at livelit.tumblr.com.
Yeah, we want to be inspired by you.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the thing that I wanted to share today, which is Michael Rosen's sad book.
And these are surprises for each other. I didn't know what this was going to be.
So this is Michael Rosen's sad book, and it's Quentin Blake, who is the illustrator from all of the Roald Dahl books.
Oh, yeah.
So you might not recognize his style, but it's in a more adult style. I would call it an adult picture book. I even just opening it makes me start to want to cry. I might just share with you guys the
Oh.
yeah. So it says,
Oh boy.
this is me being sad. Maybe you think I'm happy in this picture. Really, I'm sad, but I'm pretending I'm happy. I'm doing that because I think people won't like me if I look sad. And the illustrations are gorgeous, and the words are simple and gorgeous. And it's about this man losing his son, and I felt like it was a really nice one to share for today because that feeling of being in the mud and being in the mud with all of the difficult emotions, with all of the things that are happening. Like I just thought that this was a really gorgeous, gorgeous book, and I just highly suggest that you get it. Well, I don't want to, actually, I'm not going to ruin it. You guys should go find it and read it.
Did it come out
So
recently?
beautiful. It's old. It's, I think, 2004, I want to say.
Mm.
But I don't know. That's what I'm really in love with. I just read it yesterday.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
reread it yesterday.
My one awesome thing that I would like to share is actually this rice that you made yesterday. Not yesterday, Monday, whatever day it was.
It's not that special.
No, it was delicious. Katrina and I finished the show on Monday, and then met to figure out, to talk about whatever, how to do better next time, and where we wanted to go from where we were. And she brought out these bowls of rice that to me tasted like they had some kind of bean, almost sauce or something, mashed beans, something mixed in with some kind of topping that I had no idea what it was. It tasted, was it seaweed?
No, there wasn't seaweed, but it was sort of like khichdi, if anyone knows like the Ayurvedic base meal khichdi. It was like khichdi, but then Asian style, so it had some soy sauce and some sesame oil and some vinegar.
Yes. Anyway, it was delicious.
There was seaweed. I'm sorry, there was seaweed. You're right.
You tried to sneak it in.
But
Could you put you put a recipe on livelit.tumblr.com?
Really easy.
Okay, that would be great.
Cool. Okay.
Terrific. I believe we've done it.
I think we have. And as always, you can tweet us at live_lit. You can write us dearlivelit@gmail.com. You can go to our Tumblr, livelit.tumblr.com. We'll put all these up somewhere. And we'll see you guys
on Friday.
Right.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for being here today, episode 2. This is Lit, the show where we talk about what we write, how we write it, and why. And our next episode will be on Friday, as Katrina said, but we're gonna switch up the time to see if that might work better. Please let us know if there's a time that works better or works for you.
Let us know if you look at pee break. You're like, I can always take a pee break at 3.
Yes, please tell us when you are peeing. On Friday, you may pee at 12 noon. We're going to air at 12 noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And episode 3 will be on reverse to-do lists.
Oh yeah, reverse to-do lists.
And it's going to be, we're going to be hosting back on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/jessica.vector.
Cool.
All right.
Bye, you guys. Thanks.